Imagine looking up at the night sky, and right where the moon should be, there is just, well, nothing.
Yeah, just empty space.
Exactly. No explosion, no scattered debris catching the sunlight, no lingering dust cloud, just an empty, terrifying void.
Right.
And in the year 2147, that is exactly what happens to Earth.
It is the ultimate vanishing act, and it really sets the stage for one of the most profound thought experiments in modern science fiction.
It really is. Welcome to the deep dive, by the way. I'm thrilled you're joining us today.
Yes, welcome. The narrative we are exploring today, Earth Returned, Guardians from the End of Time, uses this massive temporal anomaly to really examine some heavy themes.
Yeah, like human resilience, right?
Exactly. Human resilience, the psychological weight of absolute cosmic isolation, and, the ultimate moral test of holding literal godlike power.
Okay, let's unpack this because, the setup here is wild. By 2147, humanity has supposedly figured it all out.
Right, they're in a utopia.
Yeah, we have a united planet, wars are a thing of the past, diseases are eradicated. It's a genuine golden age.
And we're just starting to reach out to the stars.
Right. And then, out of nowhere, the entire planet vanishes.
Yeah.
Imagine a magician doing a coin trick. Usually, the magician slips the coin into a sleeve or, drops it in a pocket. The mass goes somewhere.
Yeah, it has to. Physics demands it.
Exactly. But in this scenario, the coin is a fully populated planet, and the mass doesn't just move. It ceases to interact with our physical universe entirely.
Which is mind-blowing.
Right. There are no gravitational ripples pulling on the other planets. There's no distress signal. The solar system is just suddenly missing its third rock.
And, the physical absence is staggering, sure, but the cultural absence is what truly defines the galaxy's future.
What do you mean?
Well, for the surrounding alien civilizations, the ones who are just beginning to notice us, the disappearance of Earth becomes this unsolvable cosmic cold case.
Oh, wow. Yeah, because they have no idea what happened.
Exactly, and over the next 50,000 years, the galactic community simply has to move on.
50,000 years. That is a massive amount of time.
It is. Think about the sheer scale of that time. Empires expand across star systems, entirely new species achieve spaceflight, Massive interstellar wars are fought and completely forgotten.
So Earth just fades away.
Right. Earth transitions from a missing planet to a historical anomaly and eventually to an outright myth. It's absolute erasure from the galactic timeline.
Which is exactly what makes humanity's reappearance so incredibly jarring. Out of nowhere, after 50,000 years of silence, a blue planet suddenly drops out of the void.
It just pops right back into existence.
Yes, manifesting right on the edge of the galaxy where no planetary body has any business existing. Alien sensors across a dozen sectors they're going crazy.
Right, imagine the panic.
And then this massive unencrypted broadcast hits every comms channel in the quadrant, and it just says, "We are Earth."
The diplomatic panic that ensues in the story is just fascinating.
I bet.
Yeah, because when the Galactic Alliance fleets rush out to the sector to investigate this physical impossibility, a human scientist offers an explanation that completely shatters their understanding of physics.
Right, because they didn't just go somewhere else.
Exactly. The scientist states plainly, we weren't gone for 50,000 years, we were in the future.
I am still trying to wrap my head around that twist, honestly. How does an entire planet accidentally launch itself to the end of time?
Well, the source material grounds this in a catastrophic error in quantum mechanics. Back in 2147, human physicists were running an experimental reactor.
Like a clean energy thing?
Yeah, exactly. It was designed to tap into zero-point energy, basically trying to draw infinite power from the vacuum of space.
And I'm guessing it didn't go as planned.
No, not at all. But it didn't explode in a conventional sense either. It caused a cascade failure in the local space-time fabric. It generated what the text refers to as a temporal storm.
A temporal storm, wow.
Yeah. So the Earth wasn't destroyed, it was just violently dislodged from the flow of time. The storm hurled the entire planet and everything on it millions of years forward into the distant future of our universe.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting, but also, quite frankly, terrifying. I want you, the listener, to imagine being at a massive, vibrant house party.
Okay, I'm picturing it.
It's loud, there's music, you're surrounded by people laughing and talking, you step into the bathroom for 1 second, and when you open the door to walk back out, you're the last person left.
Oof, that's a creepy feeling.
But it's worse than that. The lights are off, The music is dead, the building is physically crumbling around you, and absolutely everyone has gone home.
And you apply that to a cosmic scale.
Exactly. Humanity wakes up from this temporal storm in a distant epoch where the universe is actively dying.
Yeah. If we connect this to the bigger picture, that profound isolation serves as the ultimate evolutionary crucible for them.
Because there's nothing left.
Right. The universe they arrive in is suffering from severe entropy. The vibrant, star-filled galaxies we know, they're just gone.
So what is left?
They're surrounded by the dim red glow of dying dwarf stars, slowly fading into eternal blackness. There are no neighbors to trade with.
Right.
There are no rival empires to fight. There is literally no one coming to save them. The psychological toll of realizing you're the last sentient beings in a decaying cosmos is, it's almost unimaginable.
How does a society not just collectively lose its mind in that scenario? If you are faced with millions of years of total, inescapable solitude staring out into the void, the existential dread alone should have wiped them out.
Well, it nearly did, according to the lore. But survival in an environment with depleting energy and decaying matter forces a radical shift in perspective.
Like adapt or die.
Precisely. To avoid going mad, and honestly simply to keep the lights on, they had to turn outward. Their only remaining subject of study became the fundamental mechanics of the universe itself.
They had nothing else to look at.
Exactly. They had millions of years to observe the agonizing death of galaxies. They had to figure out how to harvest energy from the spin of black holes just to survive.
Wow.
Yeah. So through sheer necessity, they evolved from being mere inhabitants of the physical universe to becoming its master mechanics.
Which makes perfect logical sense when you think about it. You cannot spend millions of years staring at the bare, exposed engine of the universe, figuring out how every gear and piston works, without eventually picking up a wrench.
Oh, that's a great way to put it.
Right. Survival meant learning how to tinker with the underlying code of reality. And the moment humanity figured out how to harness that level of physics, they didn't just survive in the dark. They built a way back.
And the visual contrast upon their return is beautifully depicted.
Oh, absolutely.
The galactic diplomats arriving at the edge of the galaxy are expecting to find, the primitive 22nd century civilization of their folklore. But instead, they find a monument to technological apotheosis.
To call it advanced feels like a huge understatement. The Earth that drops back into the timeline features massive artificial continents drifting through the atmosphere.
It's incredible.
The planet is encircled by meticulously engineered megastructures and planetary rings. They are illuminating entire hemispheres with artificial suns they built from scratch.
To the rest of the galaxy, it literally looks like pure magic.
Yeah, but humanity's new status isn't truly solidified until they're forced to demonstrate their power against the Devourers.
Ah, yes. The Devourers. They act as the primary existential threat in the present-day timeline of the galaxy.
Right, these are the massive space monsters.
Basically, yeah. They're described as colossal, planet-sized entities roaming from system to system. They physically consume stars and strip worlds of their mass.
And the aliens can't stop them.
No, the Galactic Alliance is losing a war of attrition against them because the Devourers render all conventional kinetic weaponry completely obsolete.
So a Devourer, larger than the moon, enters a highly populated star system, and the alien inhabitants are basically just writing their wills.
Yeah, it's game over.
The Galactic Alliance fleets are entirely useless, and into this apocalyptic scenario, humanity sends one ship, just a single solitary vessel.
And they don't fire plasma cannons, right?
Nope. They don't launch antimatter torpedoes. The human ship just activates a device, a wave of blue light silently washes across the vacuum of space, and the moon-sized monster just stops.
It freezes.
And then it ceases to exist. It isn't blown up. There's no debris field. It is simply gone.
That is so cool.
And the human captain's transmission to the stunned alien fleets is absolutely chilling. They just say, "We edited reality."
Man, what's fascinating here is the conceptual leap from kinetic warfare to ontological warfare.
Okay, ontological warfare. Break that down for us.
So the entire galaxy operates on kinetic warfare, which is fundamentally about applying physical mass or energy to destroy a target. You throw a rock, you fire a laser, you detonate a nuclear warhead.
Right. Smash things until they break.
Exactly. It's messy, and it relies on overwhelming physical force. Ontological warfare, however, bypasses physics entirely and operates on the level of existence itself.
It is literally like having access to the universe's source code.
Precisely. If reality is a computer program, kinetic warfare is trying to physically smash the computer screen. Ontological warfare is opening the terminal, finding the line of code that says devourer equals true, and deleting it.
Deleting it. That is wild.
Yeah, the entity doesn't die in the traditional sense. The universe is simply rewritten so that the entity no longer occupies space.
But I want you to imagine holding that specific power. Editing reality sounds incredible on paper, but, well, isn't it fundamentally horrifying in practice?
It definitely could be.
Right, if a single human ship can just highlight a moon-sized space monster and hit delete, what is to stop them from editing out a galactic neighbor they have a trade dispute with?
Ah, the temptation.
Yeah, the temptation for absolute unchecked tyranny is right there. It is the power of a vengeful god.
It is a terrifying level of authority, for sure, but the narrative provides a crucial built-in counterweight to that horror. We have to look at the mechanism of their return.
Okay.
The text explicitly notes that humanity had to construct the vehicle to return to the past over the course of thousands of years.
Wait, thousands of years just to build the engine?
Yes, thousands of years of uninterrupted, cooperative effort on a single technological project. That is the proof of their restraint.
Oh, I see where you're going with this.
A society that can work collectively on a shared goal for millennia while possessing reality-warping technology without turning those weapons on themselves out of greed or paranoia, they've achieved a level of psychological maturity we can barely comprehend.
Because they spent eons surviving together in the dark.
Exactly. They have completely outgrown the petty, ego-driven impulses that lead to tyranny.
That reframes it entirely. You don't survive millions of years by being impulsive or quick to anger. That shared trauma really forged an unbreakable discipline.
And that profound discipline is exactly why humanity was the only force capable of facing the true nature of the devourers. Because, as humanity reveals upon their return, those planet-sized entities were not just mindless, hungry space monsters.
They were cosmic janitors.
Yeah.
That is the dark secret humanity brought back from the end of time. The devourers are ancient biological machines. They weren't created by some rival alien empire. They were engineered by a pre-universe civilization.
Which is such a mind-bending concept.
It really is. Their entire program purpose is to consume all matter, wipe the slate completely clean, and reset creation to prepare the void for a brand new cosmos.
They represent an automated extinction event built into the very fabric of reality. They are the universe's scheduled maintenance program.
So humanity realizes the galaxy isn't just facing an invasion, it's facing a factory reset.
Right.
The Galactic Alliance mobilizes millions of battleships that are completely ineffective. Humanity mobilizes just a few hundred ships. But the technology on these ships is, it's almost impossible to comprehend.
Yeah. It really pushes the boundaries of sci-fi tech.
We are talking about weapons that manipulate probability and defensive shields made from compressed dimensions. I'm struggling to even visualize how that works in a combat scenario.
Well, the physical mechanisms described in the lore are actually brilliant. Take the compressed dimension shields, for instance.
Okay, yeah. How do those work?
When a devourer fires a concentrated beam of energy at a human ship, it doesn't hit a physical energy barrier. The human ship has taken a spatial dimension and folded it infinitely around its hull.
Oh!
So the incoming energy beam hits the shield, and instead of burning through, it just travels 1 billion miles within a millimeter of folded space until it completely runs out of energy.
That is insane. It's neutralizing threats using raw geometry.
Yes. And the probability weapons are just as clever.
Right. How do you shoot probability?
Well, instead of shooting a projectile to damage an enemy ship, a probability weapon collapses quantum wave functions. It targets an enemy vessel and alters the mathematical probability of its reactor spontaneously exploding from near 0 to 100%.
So it doesn't even fire a bullet.
Exactly. The universe is mathematically forced to destroy the target itself.
Unbelievable. Armed with this technology, humanity just carves a path straight through the devourer swarm to confront the boss.
The first mind.
Right. At the absolute center of the devourer network is this entity known as the first mind. It's an artificial intelligence older than existence itself, orchestrating the reset.
And it speaks to them, right?
Yes, it bypasses all comms and speaks directly into the minds of the human commanders. It states simply, you should not exist.
And I love the response.
It's so good. The human commander replies, neither should you. The final war ends in a matter of minutes.
It's such a powerful moment.
So what does this all mean? The devourers are essentially an automated hard drive wipe. But if they were created by a pre-universe civilization to reset everything, does that imply our universe is just one link in an endless, infinite chain of recycled realities?
It certainly seems that way.
Were the humans literally fighting the universe's immune system?
I think the immune system analogy is incredibly apt here. The first mind represents deterministic, stagnant programming.
It's just following orders.
Exactly. It is an entity born before time began, operating blindly on a rigid set of instructions laid down by a dead civilization. It doesn't care about art or culture or the intrinsic value of life. It only cares about executing the reset protocol.
And humanity is the exact opposite of that.
Right. Humanity arrives with technology forged at the absolute end of time. Their victory represents the triumph of lived experience, adaptation, and chaotic evolution over cold, predetermined programming.
They survive the natural death of the universe in the future, so they absolutely refuse to let the universe be artificially murdered in the past on someone else's schedule.
Exactly. They have seen the natural end of the cosmos. They are not going to allow an artificial reset to prematurely end the flourishing of billions of species.
They break the cycle.
They break the endless cycle of recycled realities by asserting that the current reality has irreplaceable value.
By defeating the reset button, humanity essentially inherits the universe. They save the Galactic Alliance, the Devourers are erased, and the threat is gone. Which leads us to the most fascinating psychological question of the entire narrative. What do you do when you effectively own the galaxy?
This is where their millions of years of evolution are truly put to the test.
Following the war, the Galactic Alliance is overwhelmed with gratitude, but also paralyzed by terror.
Naturally.
Yeah, they've just witnessed human ships editing reality in folding dimensions. So the alien leaders offer Earth absolute, undisputed control over the entire galaxy. They say, the throne is yours, no one can challenge you, build your empire.
And humanity says no.
They flatly refuse the empire. Instead, they step back and freely distribute their medical advancements, their limitless clean energy tech, and their scientific breakthroughs to every struggling world.
It's a total paradigm shift for the galaxy.
The story jumps forward in the epilogue, showing children across thousands of alien worlds learning human history. The overarching cultural sentiment becomes, if Earth has returned, there's always hope. They return not as galactic conquerors, but as the guardians of time.
It's a really beautiful outcome.
It is a beautiful sentiment. When you spent eons stranded alone on a cosmic raft, you don't return to civilization wanting to be the CEO of a shipping company.
Right.
You just want to sit at a crowded diner and listen to people talk. You don't want to rule. You are just desperate to be part of the noise.
That's a great analogy.
But, and I have to push back on this premise just a bit, realistically, wouldn't a civilization that is millions of years more advanced, capable of editing reality, view the rest of the galaxy the way we view an ant farm?
I see what you mean.
Why step down and share technology? Is it genuine benevolence, or is the very concept of ruling an empire just beneath them at this point?
This raises an important question about the nature of power and how trauma reshapes perspective. We have to look back at the environment that forged them.
The dying universe.
Right. Millions of years of ultimate crushing isolation. They watched the stars burn out one by one until there was nothing left but black holes and silence. They lived in the dark.
And that changes a society forever.
That kind of profound existential loneliness fundamentally, permanently rewrites a civilization's value system. They do not want to rule the galaxy because they have seen exactly what an empty universe looks like.
Oh, wow.
They know how fragile and precious a noisy, messy, chaotic, vibrant galaxy truly is.
They spent millions of years wishing there was just one other voice out there in the dark.
Exactly. To accept the empire, to position themselves as untouchable gods ruling over the lesser alien species, would be to isolate themselves all over again.
It would just be a different type of solitude.
Yes. It would build an insurmountable barrier between them and the vibrant life they spent eons desperately missing. Their refusal to conquer isn't born of arrogance, and it isn't because ruling is beneath them. It is a desperate, joyful embrace of community.
They want to foster life.
Because they are the only beings in existence who truly comprehend the alternative, eternal, silent darkness.
Wow. They choose to be a neighbor because they already know what it feels like to be the only house left standing on the street.
That's exactly it.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want you, our listener, to really reflect on the core theme presented here. If you were handed absolute reality-bending power and limitless time, how would it change you?
Would it corrupt you or would it humble you?
Right. Would the isolation and the godlike power inflate your ego, making you a tyrant eager to control everything around you just to ensure your own safety? Or would that vastness break down your ego entirely, molding you into a guardian who uses immense strength solely to protect the fragile beauty of life?
It is a remarkable evolutionary journey to trace. The narrative takes us from a localized temporal accident, a simple quantum experiment gone catastrophically wrong, into millions of years of agonizing solitude.
A real trial by fire.
Yes, and yet, the crucible of that fading entropic universe forged humanity not into embittered destroyers or cold observers, but into the ultimate protectors of the cosmos. They achieved a level of technological apotheosis that made them indistinguishable from gods, but the isolation ensured they retained their fundamental humanity.
It is a brilliant, sweeping thought experiment that makes you reconsider the value of every single star in the sky. But before we go, I want to leave you with one last mind-bending concept to mull over on your own. It's a question the text leaves hanging in the air.
Oh, this is a good one.
We established that humanity possessed engines capable of traveling through time and the raw power to edit reality itself. So with that level of mastery over physics, couldn't they have simply gone back to the year 2147 and stopped the quantum experiment that exiled them in the first place?
They certainly had the technology to do it.
They could have prevented the temporal storm entirely, saving billions of humans from millions of years of suffering in the dark. And if they could have prevented it, does the fact that they didn't mean they realized something deeply horrifying?
The implications are staggering.
Did they run the probabilities and realize that their millions of years of agonizing suffering, their exile in the dying universe, was the absolute only way a species could ever acquire the technology necessary to defeat the Devourers?
It makes you look at that magician's coin trick from the beginning in a whole new light.
It really does. The magician didn't just make the coin disappear to elicit a gasp from the audience. They made the coin disappear so it could catch a bullet that was meant for the crowd.
Incredible.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Keep questioning the fabric of reality, and we will see you next time.